Ni hao, everyone, and welcome to Bob's Reviews here in Manila, Philippines. We have a hazy day. We're looking out over Manila Bay. I'm Bargain Bob. I'm from New York, and I've been living in Manila now for 20 years. Today, I'm going to share with you a recent pickup of the FOSI ZA3. Very nice amplifier. We're going to take a look at it. I'm going to give you a little bit of history behind FOSI. I'll give you some specifications on the unit itself, and then we'll do a pro and con. But right now, we're just looking out over Manila Bay. It's 31 Celsius right now. There's a cool breeze, kind of nice out. Sorry for the background noise. I recently redoing this video because I found out that the audio quality was horrible. When I played it back through my tablet, I did not hear, it did not sound that as bad as it did when I received the complaint and I watched it through my TV and my surround sound, and I could really hear it. So this is why I'm redoing this video, and we're going to do it again. So grab something to drink. We'll go inside and we'll take a look at the ZA3. Okay, here we are back inside. We're looking at the FOSI audio. Let me give you a little bit of history behind FOSI first, okay? They started in 2017, and a gentleman by the name of Ryan Hu Wong. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, boss. I really apologize. They started out in Shenzhen, China, in a 10 square meter office. Their first product was the V1.0 amplifier. It came out in 2017, okay? It was pretty popular, and that's what started the FOSI going on. FOSI itself, the name, is not a person or a place. It actually has a meaning, and they did do a lot of thought process into thinking of this. Now, FOSI, what it stands for is foresight, openness, sincerity, integrity. Very nice. 2 thumbs up for thinking like that, boss. Very nice. Okay. 2024, 2025, really, everything really became big for FOSI. Global scale grew hugely, very big. They went from that 10 square meter to a 2,300 square meter facility, or also known as 25,000 square foot R&D hub. They reached a milestone of over 20 million products sold. Congratulations. Very nice. Here we have the ZA3. This is the old style box that they sent me. Not much written on it. This is the same old box that they've been using for quite some time. I was glad to get the new box with the ZD3. Let's open it up real quick. And here we have, as you can see, no power supply. All right. When you purchase FOSI amplifiers, you have a choice of power supplies and whether or not to buy it with or without a power supply. I chose the latter, without power supply. I bought this from Lazada, which is a selling platform here in the Philippines. Lazada had a birthday sale, and I picked this up for 4,300 peso without power supply. I went on and I found AIMA GAN 48 volt 5 amp power supply. And by the way, that's the only size that I really recommend purchasing when you buy any FOSI amplifier, is the 48 volt 5 amp power supply. That's the only one that you're going to get the most power and the most out of this amplifier, is by using that power supply. I found the AIMA one, the GAN 48.5, and it was a lot cheaper than the FOSI audio power supply. So that's why I went this route, and it was much cheaper. Owner's manual in Chinese and in English. Please take a look at this before you hook up. Here's the unit itself. Nice FOSI bag. I love the packaging of FOSI products. They do a good job of packaging items. Hats off for that. Here's the unit itself. We have our beautiful orange knob, made out of metal, of course. Very nice and very rare. Nice toggle switches. Listen to that clicky. Very satisfying click. This side over here is for your XLR or your RCAs, and this one is for your stereo mono. This is a dual mode amp. You could use it as a monoblock or as a stereo amplifier. The thing is, though, when I used to bridge amplifiers, we would double the power in that one channel. But for some reason, when you use this as a monoblock, you're only getting the same wattage at the other end as you were if you were running it in stereo. You think it would go up double, but I kind of understand the method to their madness, because when you do that, you also multiply the heat and the load. So I digress. It's good enough. We have ventilations on the side, and I love how they did the background of the orange, like on the button. Looks nice, looks sharp. Other side, underneath, nice. These two screws here is what you need to undo to move the board out. And now remember, there's thermal paste under here. This is all aluminum construction, and they're using this as a heat sink. So there's thermal paste here. So if you do take it apart, you may find it a little bit hard getting the board out because of thermal paste. There's a lot of space behind the button, so it's easy to pull this button off. You could really get your fingers under it and pull it off, unlike the ZD3, which is flush mounted. But if you do have a problem, remember Bob's tip of the rubber band. Put a rubber band around here and it comes right off, no problem. Looks good. It is a little bit of a fingerprint magnet, as you can see. Now, I've been using it for three weeks, going on 3 weeks now, and I've played everything from Led Zeppelin to Metallica to Disturbed to Johnny Cash, Pink Floyd, everything. She's gotten warm, but never hot. Only warm, never hot. Very nice. Very nice. Let's take a look at the back. The back, we have our XLR TRS hookup. We have our RCAs in. And as you can see, I have my caps on here. Remember, always use these caps. Pick them up on Lazada or Shopee. Especially if you live in a humid climate, your RCAs get really boogered up really quick. So I have these capped. This the subwoofer out I'm using, so that's not capped. The new pins I have fit in here perfectly for this. These are little mini binding posts. They're smaller. And remember, just say no to bare wire. Use banana plugs. I highly recommend it, okay? Then we have our 12-volt trigger, and we have our power supply input. Very simple, strictly business on the back, nothing fancy. That's the one reason why I like the FOSI. They are strictly business-oriented, okay? No fancy doodads, nothing to break. It's very just straightforward design, straightforward thinking. Very nice. I'm very impressed with it, okay? This is 6.5 inches wide, 7.2 inches by 2 inches high, or 15.5 millimeters by 18.4 by 5.1 centimeters tall. Very nice. She weighs in at 3.9 pounds. Or 1.78 kilograms. Nice. Power-wise, she's putting out 155 watts, 2-channel in the 4 ohms. Mono, 235 in the 4 ohms. That's with the 48 5-amp power supply. Remember that. What I'm going to do is, one thing that really impresses me is the inside. Are the components they use to make this. And it's all German, Japanese, and American parts that are inside here. It's using the TPA 3255 Texas Instrument chip, which is a very well-regarded chip and works very well. I love it. Volume's nice and smooth. Very nice. To power it on, you push it on, off. Very simple. FOSI audio. Very nice. I must say, I am impressed. For the price and for the amount of power that comes out of this unit, it is quite a job it's doing. And I was very impressed with this. So what we'll do is I'll go out in the living room and I hook this back up and let you guys take a listen to that. Listen to this. So we'll go from there. And I don't know what else to say. I'm really impressed with how the overall working of this unit is, and does not get hot. No matter how long I push it. And I pushed it 8 hours, 9 hours straight. Living here in my condo during the day, everybody is working. So I have the opportunity and the chance to really pump up my volume because nobody's around. So I do take a lot of advantage of that situation, and I do play my music loud. So let's go in the living room and check her out. Be right back. Okay, I'm back in the living room. I've hooked up the stereo, as you can see. I'm using the iEast M50 streamer, the ZA3, the ZD3, a Warfendale subwoofer 10-inch, and my new KEF X300s that I have renamed Bob's KEF 125, Q125. Why do I call them Q125s? Because the X300s, the amplifier's blue, someone was selling them very cheap online, so I converted them to passive speakers. But they need to be upgraded. I shouldn't say I did it. The person I bought them from started to convert them to passive speakers, but they didn't complete the job. They put the wrong crossovers in, and they used no stuffing, and they did not brace the cabinets. That is what I'm doing next. I found the correct 2500 hertz crossovers. I'm installing them. I'm going to line the cabinets and stuff them with the proper stuffing and brace the cabinets. They do sound okay, but remember, they have the wrong crossover in them. But they don't sound bad. We're listening to Spotify Premium, copyright-free metal. It sounds pretty good, I must say. Let me forward the song. Now remember, I am purchasing all this equipment that I review. I purchased myself. I have no one sending me this stuff. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So, with that being said, I'm very impressed with what you get for your money. You do FOSI does offer a lot of bang for the buck. Sounds good, really does. And I'm using my new FOSI XLR cables. I just installed them. I'll put a picture here. Very nice. Once you buy one item from FOSI, it's like a rabbit hole. You gotta buy more. I'm waiting for my visualizer right now, and I'm also waiting on another ZA3 amplifier. I am going to go with 2 monoblock ones. But I have not changed the chips. Now remember, the ZA3 also offers op-amp rolling, which means you can change the sound signature of the amp. And right now, it has the stock Texas Instrument NE5532 op-amp chips in it. I'm going to hold off on changing them or doing anything with them until a later date. Right now I'm just checking out the ZD3 with the stock chips, and in the future I may upgrade to the OPA 2604s, legit. But that's another nice thing I love about the FOSI. You can change the sound signature by changing the op amps. If you believe in that. I do. Because you could go crazy with the op amp chips. You could spend as much as the amplifier costs. But that's up to you if you want to invest that kind of money into this situation. For me, I think it sounds really good right now. And like I said, I may change them to the OPA 2604s. Let's take another listen to it real quick before we get into pros and cons. The FOSI XLR cables are nice. They're 30 centimeters long. I love shorties, so it cleans up the mess in the back of the unit, and they just look really good. They're made really well too. So shout out for FOSI for the good cables. And they were cheap. They weren't that expensive. I think I paid $18.50 for a pair. Not bad at all. So let's get with the pros and cons. Pro, high power. This thing kicks out a lot of power. XLR inputs. Very rare do you find items in this price range with XLRs. The last time I was messing with XLRs was when I had my Krell system. And My belief, if the unit offers XLR, use them. That's it, period. Will it improve the sound? I don't know. You do receive a 5 dB gain using XLR. I will say that. And it is better wiring for the unit itself. So, price. Can't beat the price of the FOSI audio. Really can't. Dual mode, stereo or mono. It's got a subwoofer out. Price. Did I mention price? Op amp rolling. Change the sound signature of your amp. Very nice. Big plus. Looks. She looks really, really sharp. Price. Did I mention price? Build quality. She is built like a tank. It is well built. Good components inside from Germany, Japan, and America. And price. Con. No remote. I'm using my ZD3 remote to control the volume on it. No big deal. No balance or tone controls. If I wanted that, I would get the ZP3. I'm not a big fan of tone controls or balance controls. It should be set up from the factory like that. But I do understand the need for that for some people depending on the room that you're utilizing. So I do understand that, and I would highly recommend. And my future purchase down the rabbit hole will be a ZP3. You could bridge it. The bridging is, it's not a con, but it's not 2 times the power like it says. Now, where did I get those numbers? I got them from Williston Audio Labs. He tested it, and he came up with that result, that it was not doubling the power. It was a little bit more, but not much more than in stereo mode. I highly recommend his videos. Check him out on YouTube. Really, that is it for the cons, and none of them are any deal breaker as far as not buying a ZA3. Okay, the pros outweigh the cons. So I digress. It's totally up to you. I love the FOSI audio because it's strictly business oriented. Yes, SMSL offers you some fancy doodads and some fancier options, but FOSI just gives you what you really want. And that is just the power, clean, nice sounding music. And it really does that job well. And for the money, you can't argue with that point. So, I digress. Want to give a shout out to Big D, Williston Audio Labs on YouTube. Dude, you're funnier than hell. He tests all these items. He puts a serious load on these amps. And he will tell you which amps are good and which ones are not. And he likes the FOSI. Shout out to you, boss. Shout out to the Cheap Audio Man. Love your videos, boss. Keep them up. Thank you so much for the information. Have a good day. But I can't think of anything else. Hooking up. The hooking up of these units is so simple and so easy. It took me less than 2 minutes to hook that amp back up. It really is a pleasure to do. I'm happy with this. I'll give you guys an update in a couple of months after running them and using them for a while. And every time I receive another item from FOSI Audio, I will make a short on that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize for the first one with the bad audio. I hope this one is much better. And I will be listening to this on my surround sound before I publish. You guys be safe. Take care out in that heat. I've been wearing a mask because we have many volcanoes here in the Philippines that have been erupting. And I think that has to do with why it's been so hazy out here lately. So be safe. Take care. Stay cool. I'll see you in the future. Please leave a like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. And check out our sponsor, Puff and Stuff. Check them out on Facebook or on the web. You guys take care. Salamat. Peace. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm vaping on my RVCC and my banana nut e-juice. Very nice. Banana nut bread e-juice. Very nice. Let's take another puff and let's listen to a little bit more music if I could crank it up here. Sounds good. You all be safe and take care. See ya.